Hi, I'm Courtney Morrison, and you're listening to Engagement Drivers, presented by EveryoneSocial. Each week, we'll share actionable tips, strategies, and success stories that you and your teams can use to steer your brand, social, and employee engagement in the right direction. Hello. Welcome back to Engagement Drivers. On today's episode, I'm excited to be joined by Kaitlyn Riddle, who is the social media lead at Infoblox. And today we're going to talk about an exciting topic, personal branding, and how people are using that to build trust in the workplace and on social media. So to start us off, how do you, Kaitlyn, define personal branding?
First off, Courtney, thank you very much for having me. This is very exciting. I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with you.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Of course. For me, personal branding is, there's two sides to it, what it is and what it is not. And I feel that it's important to talk about both of those because there seems to be some common misconceptions about what personal branding means. It kind of has an implication of vanity in the title. And so to start off, I'll speak to what I have found that it is. So personal branding is a conscious effort to provide value and information and helpful content that aligns with who we are as human beings. So in other words, it's a strategy for how we differentiate ourselves from others, ultimately to advance our careers, provide value, credibility, grow our circle of influence, impact society, for example. What personal branding is not is that it is not peacocking, so to speak. It is not the process of just attempting to impress others on social media or whatever channel is at play. So it's not about showing off or bragging, so to speak, or anything other than contributing quality content or information to two-way conversations, if that makes sense.
Yes, totally. I love that framing because I think maybe you hear the term personal branding and it kind of turns you off to it because you think it might be like, oh, I'm just bragging about myself all the time. But it's really more about, turning it to the other side of like, what value do you have? What experiences do you have that no one else can speak to, and sharing that with people and really being a helpful resource to them. Why do you think that is so important today?
That's a great question, Courtney. Personal branding is important because, well, for one, it's actually part of our jobs. Whether we're employed in corporate America or not, anyone who's employed is responsible for being able to speak to what he or she can do in their role. It's part of our job to be able to say what we're great at, what our areas of expertise are, what our skills are, what projects we've worked on, who we've worked with, our work history, and so on. So personal branding, for one, from a professional work standpoint, it's actually part of our responsibilities. And for two, it's also important because that's how we establish credibility and trust with people. And right now, that's where that's happening is largely on social media. And research is beginning to show that companies in the future are no longer going to be as forgiving of their employees who don't establish themselves on social media. as credible human beings. So that doesn't necessarily mean that companies are only going to hire people that are sharing every day on social media. But what that more so indicates is that companies are going to weigh more heavily in the hiring process individuals that can sell themselves and establish who they are and what they can do with more credibility on social media.
That's the ultimate sales and marketing alignment right there, is that we are all sales. Right. I love that. So for someone wanting to start developing their personal brand, what's your advice? What's step one?
Great question. I would say that the first step, it depends on the level of commitment from whoever is, investing in building their personal brand, so to speak. But I would say the best place to start is by asking why. So asking oneself, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I building my personal brand? Do I want to build my social media following? Do I want to provide a certain type of value? Am I an executive, C-level employee who is tasked with booking hard to get meetings with other C-level employees? So that would be step one. I would encourage everyone to ask themselves why they're doing this as step one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because then you kind of know what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve and why you're doing it. I mean, it's total sense. For anyone that wants to learn more about you and your personal brand, where should they go? Where can they learn more?
Great question. Social media. I am definitely excited to connect with others across LinkedIn, my full name, Kaitlyn Riddle, on Instagram and Twitter under my handle, which is HerToPositive, HerToPositive. And lately, I'm also excited to share, Courtney, that I have just taken a new step in my personal branding journey, in that I have just launched my new website, HerToPositive.com. So that would be, I would love to invite everyone to check out my website to provide value there as well.
It is so cool. It's so powerful, and I'm so excited about what you're going to be posting there. Congrats on launching that.
Thank you so much, Courtney.
Well, Kaitlyn, it has been so great talking to you. I think that everyone can learn a little bit about what they need to do to set up a stronger personal brand, me included. So thank you so much for sharing your insights today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Courtney. I will say just briefly, lastly, I will forever have EveryoneSocial in my tool belt. And for marketers that are listening to this, after this podcast, stop what you're doing and talk to EveryoneSocial. Yeah.
Thank you for that recommendation.
True. I mean that. I really do.
Thanks, Kaitlyn.
Thanks so much, Courtney.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with more engagement insights. Want to know how EveryoneSocial can provide you with the tools needed to keep everyone at your company connected, informed, creating, and sharing? Visit EveryoneSocial.com to learn more.